The change will enable Apple to showcase both models and conduct 2 iPhone launch events each year. The plan for releasing new iPhones annually is reportedly becoming increasingly complicated or exciting, depending on one's perspective. ET News states that the luxury variants of the iPhone 18 series are set to be released in September 2026, alongside the first foldable iPhone. The base model, however, will not be available at that time. The report suggests that the base iPhone 18 will be launched in the first half of 2027. Apple's spokesperson did not immediately respond to a request for comment. Kumar Priyadarshi, the founder of the training and consulting firm Techovitas, remarked that Apple does it right. Having 2 launches a year could work. By staggering the releases, Apple remains in the public eye longer, which could help maintain steady sales throughout the year. In the second quarter of this year, Apple experienced a 2% decline in iPhone shipments. Priyadarshi pointed out that from a customer's perspective, the new launch schedule may also be astute. People who want the latest, most advanced models will purchase in the autumn, while the spring launch can attract buyers seeking a more affordable upgrade, he stated. However, Apple needs to clarify the distinction so that purchasers of the regular model do not feel as though they are merely awaiting a lesser iPhone. Now we must consider whether to purchase the iPhone 17 Pro Max or wait for the iPhone 18 Pro Max. A growing number of leaks, analysts, and insiders suggest that the answer is becoming increasingly evident. The iPhone 18 Pro Max, expected to debut in 2026, appears poised to represent a substantial advancement, not just in one area, but across design, performance, battery, and especially camera technology. If these leaks are even partially accurate, Apple may be prepared to redefine what an iPhone can be. Let's break this down step by step, starting with Apple's design cycle, because understanding that cycle is the key to seeing why the iPhone 18 Pro Max matters so much. Apple's design development. Why does 2026 stand out? Apple doesn't modify its iPhones arbitrarily. There's a rhythm, almost like a heartbeat, to the way they release items. One year might offer tiny advancements, better cameras, a faster chip, maybe a new material. Another year might bring a radical overhaul that changes the way the phone looks and feels entirely. Think back for a moment. In 2017, the iPhone X startled the world with Face ID and the notch. In 2020, the iPhone 12 restructured the lineup with flat sides, evoking the beloved design of prior models. Every few years, Apple provides something so innovative that it resets expectations. Now we're at another turning point. The iPhone 17 Pro Max is rumored to polish the formula. It will be sturdy, sleek, and durable, but not revolutionary. By comparison, the iPhone 18 Pro Max is shaping up to be the first major innovation since the 12 series. Here's the twist. Apple won't entirely revamp the outer shell until the iPhone 20, which will celebrate the brand's huge anniversary edition. But the iPhone 18 Pro Max will still stand out because of something users have been clamoring for since the iPhone X, more useful screen area. The Dynamic Island 2.0. When the Dynamic Island originally premiered, it was clever. It turned a cutout into a feature. Notifications, alerts, timers. It all dwelt inside this floating black pill at the top of the screen. People loved the idea, but there was one consistent issue. It still took up too much space. Apple has always listened. According to reputable supply chain insiders, the corporation has been working hard on decreasing the Dynamic Island, and by 2026, we may witness Dynamic Island 2.0. What does that mean? 2 possibilities are being discussed. A thinner, virtually unnoticeable island that only appears when in use, fading away when not needed, or under display Face ID. The latter would leave just a tiny punch hole for the front camera, with all the sensors hidden beneath the glass. Most analysts believe that the slimmer island is the more viable option for 2026. While under-display Face ID is feasible, Apple maintains strict quality standards, and the technology may not be perfected just yet. Regardless of the outcome, the result is clear. The iPhone 18 Pro Max will present a sleeker, more futuristic, and more immersive experience than the iPhone 17. Imagine watching a video, playing a game, or reading on your phone without that bulky cutout at the top. Although it may seem like a minor adjustment on paper, it could represent a significant leap in everyday use, especially for design enthusiasts. This enhancement alone might be reason enough to bypass the iPhone 17 and wait for the next release. However, design is merely the beginning. The true innovation lies in the camera, Apple's most substantial camera advancement yet. Each iPhone release typically includes some form of camera enhancement, but leaks concerning the iPhone 18 Pro Max suggest that Apple is working on something much more significant this time, potentially rivaling professional cameras. The most prominent rumor centers around a variable aperture primary camera. If you're unfamiliar with the term, aperture refers to the opening in a camera lens that controls the amount of light that enters. A fixed aperture cannot be adjusted, meaning the phone must rely on software to manage light levels. A variable aperture, by contrast, may adapt depending on the conditions, just like a DSLR camera. Picture this: on a bright sunny day, the aperture narrows, blocking too much light from flooding the sensor. At night, it opens wider, allowing more light in, capturing detail in gloomy settings. The result is clearer images, less noise, better colors, and more cinematic depth. Night photography would witness the biggest growth. Instead of blurry or over-processed images, you get clarity that feels almost surreal. And Apple won't stop there. For years, they've used Sony sensors, which are superb. But now, leaks reveal a possible shift back to Samsung sensors. Why? Because Samsung has recently pushed ahead in categories like low light performance and dynamic range. Switching suppliers might give the iPhone 18 Pro Max a decisive edge, not just over older iPhones, but over Android rivals as well. Of course, hardware is just half the story. The other half is Apple's software. Enter the A20 chip. The A20 chip, power beyond the numbers. Apple's chips have always been ahead of the competition. Every year, benchmarks demonstrate that iPhones outperform Android devices by huge percentages. But the A20 is rumored to be something else. Built on TSMC's cutting-edge 2nm technology, it might offer the biggest performance gain in years. Here's why this matters. Smaller transistors mean more can fit into the same space. More transistors mean faster processing, better efficiency, and lower power consumption. In practical terms, it means everything you do, gaming, editing, multitasking, feels instant. Combine this with 12 GB of RAM, and you're looking at a phone that can rival laptops. Apple has been conservative with RAM, sticking to 6 or 8 GB for years. Jumping to 12 GB shows they're serious about future-proofing. But there's another element of the jigsaw: the new C2 communication chip. This in-house processor will replace the outdated C1, improving everything from 5G to Wi-Fi 7 and Bluetooth 6.0, translation, faster streaming, faster downloads, and smoother connections, all while using less battery. When you bring all of this together, the iPhone 18 Pro Max may not only be the quickest iPhone. It may be the fastest phone in the world when it launches. The battery breakthrough is carbon-based cells. For years, battery life has been Apple's Achilles heel. Yes, they've made consistent advances, but people always want more screen time, faster charging, and longer lifespans. With the iPhone 18 Pro Max, Apple might finally offer the breakthrough consumers have been waiting for: carbon-based batteries. Why does this matter? Faster charging. These batteries can charge substantially quicker than today's lithium-ion ones. Slower deterioration. Over time, all batteries lose capacity. Carbon-based cells decay significantly slower, so your iPhone stays healthier for longer. More daily endurance. With Apple pushing more AI-driven functions to run in the background, a larger battery is required. There's even chatter that Apple could finally offer reverse wireless charging, letting you power accessories or even other iPhones merely by placing them on the back of your device. For power users, this could be the most crucial update of all. After all, what good is a quick chip or a great camera if your battery can't keep up? Release date and cost. Apple nearly always violates precedent with its launch timeline. The iPhone 18 Pro Max is expected in September 2026, following the same fall release cycle. As for cost, the leak implies it will remain in line with the iPhone 17 series. In the US, that equals about $1,249 for the Pro Max model. Of course, global prices will fluctuate depending on inflation and exchange rates. But overall, Apple seems keen to keep the premium tier constant rather than drive costs higher. Why you might want to forgo the iPhone 17. So let's return to the question we started with. Should you buy the iPhone 17 Pro Max or wait for the iPhone 18 Pro Max? The iPhone 17 will surely be a solid phone. But based on the leaks, it appears more like a refinement year. If you upgrade every single year, the 17 will serve you well. But if you're the kind of person who only updates every 2 to 3 years, the 18 might be the smarter purchase. Here's why. A smaller, smarter, dynamic island. Next-generation camera equipment with variable aperture. The A20 chip was developed on a 2nm design, 12 GB of RAM for full future-proofing. A carbon-based battery with faster charging and longer life. Taken collectively, these aren't small adjustments. They signify a leap, a time when Apple brings everything together to produce a phone that feels like it's from the future. The decision comes down to this. If you're someone who upgrades every year, the iPhone 17 Pro Max will surely give you everything you need. But if you're searching for the true game changer, a handset that seems like a leap into the future, then the iPhone 18 Pro Max is the one worth waiting for. Hold off just one more year, and you may wind up with the iPhone that doesn't merely replace your old gadget. It redefines what a smartphone can be. So share your thoughts in the comments section. Also subscribe to ZaidiEsTech. This is Zaidi signing off. See you in my next video. Goodbye.